a tall, weatherboarded house occupied by Mrs. Sherwin, a keen and successful bidder at all furniture sales.
The large and imposing house named Southfield, the residence of Mr. Thomas Hurry Riches, joint compiler in 1818 of the history of Uxbridge.
The private residence of Mr. William Charles Heron, wine merchant and auctioneer. He possesses a very fine voice for singing and elocution. He gives a delightful entertainment each winter for the benefit of the poor.
The busy show shop of Mr. Benjamin Beaumont, carriage builder, Bible class teacher in the independent Sunday schools.
A large house with extensive grounds including a capital orchard. The residence of Mr. Daniel Grange, a very kindly gentleman, often seen out walking, always with his left arm behind his back.
The public rooms or town hall. Here are carried on lectures, concerts, public meetings of the Bible Society, missionary and other events of a social character. The entrance is adorned by a Greek frieze representing about a dozen dancing girls.
Mr. George Kearley, painter, who was once, on descending a ladder, smothered from head to foot by a pail of whitewash, causing an explosion of very unparliamentary language.
Isaac Howe has opened a draper's shop, and being a well-known, sharp, businesslike young man will certainly ensure success.
The Grapes, where many tradesmen meet in the evening, each in his own Windsor chair, smoking their long pipes, partaking of moderate refreshment, and discussing the topics of the day.
The 3 Tons, a commercial inn. In the yard are several wooden and brick buildings, one being used as a corn store and sale office.
The commodious shop of Mr. Christopher Heron, grocery and provision merchant. The 2 principal assistants, John Franklin and Tom Daly, are affable, obliging and liked by everybody.
One of Bagley the Sweep's climbing boys got fixed in an angle of a tall chimney at this house. Long ladders had to be obtained, and men had to cut away from outside to release him.
The market house. Here assemble the farmers with their gaily dressed wives and daughters from surrounding villages, having previously sent in their corn-laden wagons. These are speedily unloaded by Phil Harris and his 2 sturdy sons.
One of the rooms over the market house was used by the Baptist community as a place of worship. The singing was led by a clarinet and bass viol, and there were sacks of corn along one side.
In the evening, you may meet old Dick the pieman and hear his cry, "Hot pies, hot pies!" He carries a long tin case and a small red-hot charcoal brazier underneath to keep hot the meat pies within.
The chemist shop, kept by John Anstey Chave, a somewhat starchy and fussy individual.
Mr. George Bud Hetherington, grocery and provision merchant. He had a candle-making works at the rear, which so offended the olfactory sense of the district that he was compelled to raise the height of his chimney to take the unwelcome fumes into a purer atmosphere.
The corn merchant, Mr. David Bassett, has a fine shop. He was a teacher in the independent Sunday school, and in 1851 took his class of boys to the Great Exhibition in one of his corn wagons.
The Chequers Hotel, headquarters of the Uxbridge Yeomanry Cavalry. Here property sales are held, and a cattle, sheep and pig market. Flocks of geese are driven on the street and sold by the gooseherd, who has a long crook to get those selected.
On the 1st of May, you will hear the thumping of a big drum, the squeaking of fiddles, and the clattering of shovels and scrapers. This group consists of Bagley sweeps and climbing boys, all washed clean, decorated in fancy costume, 2 or 3 of them dressed as girls with painted and powdered faces, dancing around Jack in the Green, a moving pyramid of green stuff.
The shop of Mr. John King Gurney, pastry cook and confectioner, with Miss Gurney, his sister, behind the counter, with her rosy, smiling face and gaily coloured ribbon, chatting with young tradesmen who require a bun and a glass of lemonade.
The linen drapery shop of Mr. Thomas Henry Johnson, nicknamed Gaiters from the fact of his wearing brown leather leggings.
It is Statute Fair Day, 29th of September, and on the stalls are displayed several gilded cocks and hens, ducks, nuts and cakes composed of gingerbread.
The yard, workshops, offices and dwelling house of Mr. Joseph Shoppy, the builder.
The residence and office of that fine, genial and instructive gentleman, Mr. George Eaves, architect and surveyor. He is a brilliant conversationalist, and his accounts of earlier days are interesting and amusing.
The houses of the Quaker families, who all have very happy surroundings, for their grounds and well-kept gardens extend to the River Fraze.